So with this COVID stuff, a lot of people have found skating again. You know, rollerblading is on a boom right now. The last few months have been ridiculous. If you ask any of the shops that are doing sales online, they'll tell you that they are running out of skates and manufacturers are running out of product. It is a crazy time for rollerblades, all sorts of rollerblades, kids rollerblades, fitness rollerblades, speed rollerblades, and of course, aggressive rollerblades. I've had numerous people hit me up over the last couple of weeks who are interested in getting back into blading, and I absolutely love helping them. So what I wanted to do is run down what my recommendations are for 2020 if you were interested in getting back into rollerblading, mostly from an aggressive side. I'm not going to cover the fitness side because I don't feel like I'm an expert at the fitness side, but I definitely know what I'm talking about for aggressive. I'm going to talk about some of my favorite skates for 2020. I know that supply is limited right now, unless you're a size 6, but these are the skates that I recommend you keep your eye on. Any of these skates will do, and I'll break down what's good about them and what I don't like about them, how to improve them, so that you can keep your eyes out when new skates drop. Because manufacturers come out with new skates all the time. They're not going to come out with new shells and new designs. It's going to be a new colorway of a skate, or it's going to be like a new liner in a skate or something like that. It's going to be the same skate. So the family of skates that I'll be talking about definitely always will remain true. And here we go. So I'm going to start breaking down some of my favorite skates, what I like about them, and why I recommend them. So first of all, jump to the chase. Nobody needs any introduction to this skate. If you've watched the videos, you know that I'm a huge fan of this. This is the skate that I recommend to anybody getting back into blading. It is the Aeon 60. So these are the Aeon 60s. These are actually a weird custom hybrid that I built myself with a replacement cuff and a replacement shell. It is all white. I don't think you can buy this anymore. The Aeon 60 is a really interesting skate. So if you were skating in the early 2000s, late 90s, you are familiar with just getting a skate out of the box, putting your foot in and skating. That is the spirit of the Aeon. It does not have a replaceable frame. Most skates nowadays are UFS, which means that you have a 2-bolt mounting system to replace your frames. The Aeons don't have anything like that. These are an aggressive skate designed for riding flat. They come with flat 60mm wheels, 61mm wheels technically, but nobody really makes a 61, so we always say 60mm wheels. Out of the box, these are an amazing skate. Because they don't have a mounting area, they can provide a really wide split. So this area where you do your grinds is really wide. There's a lot of room between wheel 2 and 3. So even though you're skating flat, you'll have plenty of room to grind. This H block comes pretty high, and there's these little nubs on the sides. These little nubs help you from getting wheel bite. I don't know if I have a wheel. Let me throw a wheel in here real quick. Oh, where's a good 60? Here we go. So these are some old shred pool wheels. Squeeze those in there. So if you look at the wheel, this is kind of where there's no bearing in it, so you can't really line it up perfectly. But you can see if you're doing grinds, you're going to grind on this before you grind on the wheel. That's what makes the Aeon so amazing. And they can't make this frame the way that it is with UFS. The reason is these little bolts that are used to mount your frame to your skate would rub on this wheel. This wheel is so far away from the second wheel, 2 and 3 are so far apart that they would rub on the bolts for mounting the frame to the skate. So if you have any desire to skate aggressive, this is always, I can't get this wheel out now, this is always my recommended skate. The main reason is that you are not going to enjoy skating anti-rocker when you first come back. So an anti-rocker setup, like this Solomon. So typical anti-rocker setup. This is actually what people would call freestyle because there's not technically wheels on the inside, but these are juice blocks. An anti-rocker setup would have big wheels on the outside, little wheels on the inside. In this case, they're juice blocks, so you get even more space to grind. This doesn't feel good to skate. So if you wanted to skate anywhere other than a nice smooth surface, this would not be the best first experience for you. I always recommend people start skating flat. And the reason isn't because you're going to enjoy grinding or anything like that. The reason is when you first get back into blading, you should remember what skating is all about. And just go out there and have fun skating. Skate flat, skate all over your neighborhood, skate wherever you find pavement that looks like fun to skate. And the best setup for that is a flat setup. The Aeon comes flat. Not only does it come flat, but it has a really nice split so you can do grinds. I had no problem doing any of my grinds with this riding 58mm wheels. I haven't skated these with 60s, but I should. 58s though, absolutely no problems. Doing back royales, back torques, no problems. They're a really amazing skate. They also come like this, so you don't have to worry about what frame to get. You don't have to worry about what boot, what wheels, what bearings. This is the way that they come. You don't have to mount anything. They're just out of the box. You open the box, you put your foot in here, and you start skating. These Aeons are old. They're kind of a hybrid of a bunch of different skates. Typically, they'll come with a okay liner. There's the Aeon Basic 60, which is an all-black Aeon. It comes with a basic liner. It's not great. You can upgrade the liner if you want, or you can get one of the Pro models. The Pro models start around $300. The Aeon Basics are around $230, I think. The main difference is that the liner is going to be much better in the Pro models. I don't think the wheels really make much of a difference. I think the wheels are pretty much the same wheels. But I would stick with the Aeon Basics. I wouldn't invest a ton in it. You can always get aftermarket liners now. Swap them in. Get a better liner. Get a better fit. That's the Aeon 60. Without a doubt, this is my #1 recommended skate for anybody getting back into blading. It is just the perfect skate when you don't know what you're doing. If you just want to get back and skate, get a pair of Aeon 60s. You're going to have a really fun time. You're going to be able to do all of your grinds. You're going to be able to skate anywhere. And you won't have to worry about setting it up wrong or figuring out what frames to get and what wheels to get. Just get a pair of Aeon 60s, put them on your feet, and go skate. If you know a little bit about skating, and maybe the Aeons aren't for you, maybe you want to get some UFS skates so that you can swap out frames, you want to try different frames, there's a lot of options out there. You know, there's probably a dozen different skates that you can buy. If you're just getting back into it, this might not be the perfect skate that I would recommend for everyone. This is probably the perfect skate that I would recommend for most people getting back into it. And unfortunately, I don't have the actual skate here. I have a similar skate, but it is a very similar style. It's also made by USD. It is the USD Sway. So this technically is not a Sway. This is a Powerslide Zoom. It uses the same shell as the Sway. You can swap out the Sway base plate. I have them set up so that I can do big wheel skating. These are Trinity mounts. I have them set up so that I can do big wheel skating. I didn't want to bother swapping them out again because I want to get myself an actual pair of Sway. As soon as this craziness dies down and I can actually find a pair in my size, I'm going to get an actual pair of Sway and skate them again. But the amount of time that I skated them as a Sway, I had an amazing time. First of all, if you were a USD Throne skater back in the day, which was one of the most popular skates. Do I have my Thrones? Yeah, here they are. So these were the USD Thrones. These were a really popular skate back in the day. If you look at the styling, it is a very similar look. This toe looks very similar. This wide open lacing area is very similar. It is a very similar style to the USD Throne. So if you were a Throne skater back in the day, highly recommend looking out for these USD Sway. They're going to get you exactly what you want. Similar styling, similar fit, similar comfort. What I love most about the Sway is that this sole plate is really, really solid. This material is really nice. So it mounts to the boot. Again, this is a weird one because this is actually a power slide zoom. There are little screws on the bottom. These little screws on the base plate. Get this UFS pulled out, maybe one. These little screws on the base plate, they screw in. I've got all these. Oh, I don't know where they went. Yeah, I got all these screws. You screw them in, and you can mount this onto this boot. That is how this sole plate stays on this boot, and then you grind on this sole plate. So let's talk a little bit about the sole plate, just so that I don't have to talk about the boot and get all confused. This sole plate was great. This material was super fast for slides. All of my soles felt great. Doing royales felt great. It is nice and wide. So it is the same width as the Aeon, I believe. This Aeon. Yeah, it's the same width almost exactly as the Aeon. And a wide sole plate, what that means is that when you're trying to learn sole grinds again, or trying to learn Mizus or topsides or whatever, the wider the sole plate, the more room for missing you have. So you can still lock on without any problems with these sole plates. Just like the Aeons, that's why I recommend them. Really wide sole plate, you don't have any problems locking on. This groove is very shallow, so it's a little bit more shallow than the Aeon groove. I think it's very similar, actually. This Aeon groove is a little bit deeper, but not by much. The nice thing about a shallow groove is when you are trying to learn royales again, or you're trying to learn groove tricks, or you're trying to learn, I don't know, back farves or things like that. The wider the sole plate, the narrower the royale groove is, the easier it's going to be for you to lock on. Let me show you what I mean. Let me get a pair of frames. All right, so these are the Kaiser fluid frames. These are the frames that would have come with it. I think they started using the Kaiser Fluid 5 frames. These are Kaiser Fluid 4s. I don't know what I think about the Kaiser Fluid 5s. The groove is different. So if you look at this groove, it is a big friggin' groove. It is designed for skating anti-rocker. And that means that this groove is huge. You cannot fit big 60 millimeter wheels in here. You could, but you would get so much wheel bite. Your wheels would rub on the ledge or on the rail whenever you skated them. This is designed for anti-rocker, so you get these anti-rocker wheels in this frame for free. You could swap out with whatever anti-rocker wheels you are, but these are actually really nice anti-rocker wheels. This groove is so wide that when you skate, when you lock on, it's deep, it's wide, you're not going to fall off. What I love the most is this angle, because it is so deep and because this is so wide. When you do your royales, so this, imagine this is a rail. When you do your royales, the angle that you have to be at to get boot down on a royale, not much at all. Boot down royale means that you're going to be able to get more balance when you do your groove tricks. So if you're jumping on a rail, if you're jumping on a ledge, and you're just grinding on the frame, you're going to be kind of squirrely. You kind of got to balance in this weird angle. As soon as you can get down low enough that you can get boot down, you're going to have a really nice, comfortable feeling. You're going to be able to sit on that royale, and you're going to be able to coast as long as you want. A very similar feeling with the Aeon 60. However, because this groove is so much taller, this frame being so much taller, the angle that you have to get in order to get boot down is much lower. So imagine you're jumping on a rail or jumping on a ledge. If you do a front side grind, you know, your foot is dragging, your 2 feet are like this, right? If you're doing a royale, your back foot is like this. The way that you balance a Royale is you got to bend your legs down so that you can compensate for that weird angle. The higher your angle, the less you have to bend your legs. So if you got really, really low, like if you had a really tall frame and a really deep groove on your Soleplate, you could get really low and you'd have to squat down super low in order to balance that Royale. This is a pretty good compromise. I don't know that this is 45 degrees, but it's pretty close. This is even lower. So this is probably like 30 degrees or something like that. All that means is that, you know, we're all fairly old and seasoned veterans of life. All that means is that your knees don't have to work as hard in order to keep yourself stable when you're doing Royales. And for me, that's really important. I don't like skating really tall frames because it's harder for me to get boot down, which means it's harder for me to do some of my tricks. I recommend these USD Sways for anybody getting back into blading. This is probably my #1 skate if anybody wanted to get back into it. They're hard to find right now in a lot of sizes, but you can find them in most sizes aside from 10s and I think 9s. Those are usually the most popular sizes. They look very similar to the USD Throne. I don't know what the insides are for the Sways. Again, I gotta buy a pair. But if the liners are bad, you can always buy a new one. I think they're 220 bucks for the USD Sway, maybe 180 boot only. They usually come with a little insole like footbed sort of thing that has a little shock absorber in here. That's going to make you feel like you're leaning forward a little bit more. At least that makes me feel like I'm leaning forward a little bit more. It's very thin though, so I don't have any problems recommending that skate. I think that most people are going to like it. This shock absorber does wonders and it gives you a really nice, comfortable ride. So long as you can get a good liner for those USD Sways, I think you're going to really, really like them. So if you need a UFS boot, highly recommend the USD Sway. I think that is the skate to get for most people. Out of the box, it is a great skate for grinding. But what if you're not huge into USD? What if you want to try something else? The other skate that I would recommend, so if you can't find a USD Sway, if you aren't really feeling the USD Aeon, the skate that I recommend for people getting back into it is the Razors SL. These are also pretty impossible to find right now. These are the Razors SL. These are the Navy SL. They came out beginning of this year, end of last year, I think. They always come out with new SLs. In fact, there's a new Razors SL coming out in June, I think, for Derek Henderson, who's a really great skater out in California. He is getting a pro model. It's going to be black with red highlights. This is the Navy version. It is navy blue with little white highlights. This skate is great. I absolutely love skating these skates. They fit amazing for me. They ride amazing for me. These sole plates are fully replaceable. So whereas this Sway has a single sole plate, so if you wear through this or if you want to upgrade or customize, you have to buy this whole new sole plate. It's like 40 bucks, so it's not going to break the bank. But you have to buy this whole new sole plate. If you're getting an SL, you can get these little pieces, and that would be the thing to replace. So if you wear out your sole, no problem. You just get new SLs. And they have been making this SL for like 15 years, so there's plenty of options out there. This Royale groove, same thing. You can just replace these Royale plates. Get a new Royale plate. You can ride black with white. You could ride red with blue, like whatever the heck you want. Really great skates. They come with Featherlight 3 frames. This angle, like I mentioned before, this is a great angle. They call these like cheater skates because it is such a low angle, such a low frame and such a wide sole plate that your Royale angle is really not low at all in order to get boot down. Highly recommend this for people with bad knees who just want to go out and skate. This is a really great setup. These Featherlight 3s with the SLs, really great skate. I bet you could do royales on your first day coming back with this setup. Here's the catch. So the Razor's SL historically has come with the worst liners in the industry. And I don't know why. I don't know why. They're $220, so they're the same price as these USD Sways. $220. These liners are just horrible. They hurt my feet after maybe 20 minutes. This front toe area was just digging into my toes. And I tried like sewing it, I tried cutting it. I could not figure out how to get these liners to work. I ended up buying new liners. So I got some Rain V3 liners, also made by Razors, designed to fit into the SLs, or at least make sure that they fit really nicely in the SLs. Absolutely love the Rain V3 liners. And this skate, where's the Rain V3? Oh, I had it. Oh, here it is. Oh, here it is. Here's the Rain V3. Right size, easy. This skate with the Rain V3, some yellow frames. That's a pretty nice setup. Even if you just stuck with the black frames, but you had like black and yellow laces or something like that. That's a really killer setup. It's a really interesting skate because everything is perfect except for the friggin' liner. Like if they just came out with one of these skates with a better liner, I think everybody would want it. Now I don't know how much the Derek Hendersons are going to cost. My money's on around $280, maybe $300. They are going to come with a Rain liner. They're not going to come with this liner. They're going to come with a V2 liner, which is a good liner. It's not as good as this V3, but the V2 is a good liner. I highly recommend this. I think that this is the skate for most people if you don't want to get a USD Sway. The Derek Henderson skate's probably going to be the best Razor skate of the year. All black, a little bit of red, really cool liner. Probably comes with featherlights, probably comes with wheels, whatever. But it's going to be the best baseline Razors SL for 2020. You can't find these right now. When the Derek Hendersons come in, grab yourself a pair of those if you're feeling the SL. These are really great skates. I highly recommend them. I just wish that they came out with a better liner. I don't know. You should you should see my feet after I skated those liners. It was horrible. Anyway, those are my skates that I recommend. So if you are getting back into blading, quick summary. If you're getting back into blading, if you have no idea what you want to do, if you just want to go and skate and have fun, and you don't want to focus on grinding, you don't want to focus on big wheels, you don't want to go to the mini ramps or whatever, you just want to get an aggressive skate, do a little bit of grinding again, do a little bit of skating around your neighborhood, no doubt in my mind the best skate for you is the Aeon 60. This is going to feel amazing out of the box. You put your foot in after you take it out of the box and you go and skate. There is no better feeling than skating a USD Aeon after 20 some odd years of not skating. So if you can find these in your size and they fit you nicely, definitely grab yourself a pair of USD Aeons. If that is not your thing, if you plan on focusing mostly on grinding, if you want to skate anti-rocker, those aren't great for skating anti-rocker. People do it, but those aren't great for skating anti-rocker. Like we talked about with the groove being a little bit shallow, not super deep, you could do better if you got a really deep anti-rocker frame, like the Fluid 4 or like the Featherlight 3. I recommend the USD Sway. I think this is a great setup if you actually had it, like a USD Sway. If you could find yourself a pair of Fluid 4s, see if they'll swap it out. I don't know that the Fluid 5 is going to be as good. This is a killer setup. I think anybody would love this setup. USD Sway, Fluid 4, it's like $230 or something like that. Really can't go wrong. If this is your aggressive setup, highly recommend it. If you're not feeling USD, and if you want to spend a little bit more money, because you will have to replace the liner, or you'll have to get the Derek Henderson model, get the Razors SL. Great skates. You are going to need to, another caveat, you are going to need to wax the insides of the shell. The reason is where the cuff connects to this shell, it's going to squeak. And it's probably not going to be a problem, but people around you are going to make fun of you. And you're going to watch a video of yourself skating these squeak skates, and you're going to say, oh man, I'm squeaking a lot. And you're going to want to go in there and wax it. So after you go in and you wax them, amazing skates. Get yourself a nice new liner. Get yourself some nice wheels. These Featherlight 3s are going to be fine for you. I don't know that the stock wheels are super good, but none of these stock wheels are super good. They'll get you through the first couple of sessions. But get yourself some nice wheels, upgrade the liner, or get yourself the Derek Henderson skate. I think you'll be really happy. As always, if you have questions about skates, or if you have recommendations for skates for me to try, or if you wanted to know what I thought about a specific skate, let me know in the comments. I love reading the comments, especially on these. I love talking about skates with people. Comments are usually easier for me, Instagram messages and Facebook messages. I've had a really difficult time keeping up. This boom of skaters has brought in a boom of YouTube viewers, which is amazing, but it's not super sustainable. I'm getting a dozen or so messages a day. And I want to try to make sure that I get a personal response to everybody. It's just really hard because I am a busy dude and I've got a life. So if I haven't responded to your message, I'm sorry. I mean it. But I will get back to everybody. I do love to hear from you, and I do love to hear what you think. If you have questions, this is a great way to talk, or call up a local skate shop. They love getting your calls. Local skate shops need our support, and they would love to hear from you.